Have you tried Linux, perhaps?
Linux is way better. Linux is the best operating way.
Buongiorno. Yeah, I've been using Windows for most of my life, and a few years ago I've fallen victim to Mac OS. But Linux? I've never dared to enter that garden. Who knows what deep, exotic creatures lie beneath on the other side. So after reading just a few friendly comments trying to convert me into a Linux user, I decided, why not? Why shouldn't I try it? Maybe I'm missing out. And after watching a few tutorials, I decided it was time to install it for the first time. Now this screen might not seem like I'm doing much here, but actually at this very moment, I was completely nuking my entire hard drive, reducing it to atoms, completely erasing it. I didn't realize this until I switched back to Windows.
Oh bugger.
But now I've built a new PC with an AMD graphics card, which apparently is good for Linux, so I'm going to start this over. Now during this whole process, there was one thought that kept bouncing inside my head. What can you even do with Linux, the Penguin operating system? Or should I say, what can't you do with Linux? No, but seriously, when you switch from Windows to Mac, you give up some software that only exists on Windows, gaming, and some bloatware in return for nice hardware and software integration, but a more controlled yet seamless, consistent operating system that works wonderfully within its ecosystem. And so what do you give up when you switch to Linux, and what do you get in return? Freedom. What I've gathered so far is that it's free, you can customize everything on Linux, and a lot of people say that it's the best. Now obviously there are many people that use their computers for a variety of different reasons. So here's what I use it for. I use my Mac mainly for video editing in Adobe Premiere Pro, making thumbnails in Adobe Photoshop, writing, recording videos like screen recordings or voiceovers, doing your normal everyday things in the browser, and light gaming. And by light, I mean helium light, very light, because it's macOS. Now on Windows, I do heavy duty gaming, hardcore super max, that's probably the name of some phone out there, and also some video editing sometimes. Also, I'm already aware that there's no Adobe software on Linux, and a few games that I play that have anti-cheat, like CS2, what anti-cheat, don't really work on Linux. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. My goal right now is just to install Linux and explore all the different things that you can do with it. Anyway, I chose to go with the Mint version of Linux first because it's best for beginners, aka me. So let us begin the installation. First, I'm googling Linux Mint, and here on the homepage, I will be able to download the latest version. Boink! And if I scroll down, I'll be able to choose between the Cinnamon Edition, Sleek, Modern, and Intuitive. Let's just go with this one. Since it's 3 GB, this should take some time. The next thing we'll need is called Balena Etcher. It's basically a software, well, Balena Etcher is a free and open source. Okay, essentially we need this to put this Linux Mint file onto a USB stick. So I'm going to download this as well. Now the current plan is to install Windows on my D drive, this one right here. This is an SSD that I yoinked from my laptop and installed it on my new desktop PC, and it's actually the one that I nuked before with the previous Linux installation. Actually, it should have more space. While things are still downloading, I'll open disk utility, I mean create and format hard disk partitions utility, or disk management, and here let's quickly find the SSD, which is here, and as you can see it has these two partitions which I used before for Linux. Let's make sure that it's empty now, and it is empty. So I'm going to right click, delete volume, and delete volume here as well. Sure, delete this one as well. Now my D drive is gone. So to put it back, I'm going to create a new simple volume, make sure it's the maximum size, assign the D letter for these nuts, and click next a bunch of times, so I have my new D drive with a little more space for Linux. Also, if you want to rename your disk, you can double click on the name and rename it to whatever you want. So I'm going to open the Balena Etcher app, which will run me through the installer, hopefully, and actually didn't even have to do anything. It's already installed. Then I'll plug in my universal serial bus, the USB. I'm going to choose to flash from file, then select the linuxmint.iso file, click open, then select the target, which is my USB, and flash. Yoink! A white blob opened up, which means that there's some processing going on, and there is some processing going on. And mission successful. Now I can safely delete the Linux Mint ISO file and also the Balena Etcher installer and also Balena Etcher itself. I'm going to open the file location, then go to local and yeet it out to the trash can. Beautiful. So next, the goal is to restart my computer and somehow boot into that USB so that it loads whatever is on the USB and not Windows. So now I have to figure out how to get to the boot menu on my motherboard. My motherboard is the Asus Prime 650B Plus, and I typed in boot menu, which gave me a PDF link to my motherboard's manual. To enter BIOS at startup, press delete or F2. So essentially I need to restart my computer and smash the delete key or the F2 key to enter BIOS. So let's do this procedure. By the way, function question mark is delete for me because I have a 60% keyboard. Oh, didn't work. Boom, we're inside BIOS. Now down here it says boot menu and I need to press F8 to get to the boot menu. So I'm going to press F8 and here I can select my USB. Beautiful. Now here we have a bunch of options. The first one is Start Linux Mint and a bunch of other things. So I'm going to pick the first one and click enter. And, oh, something's happening. And a mouse. And boom, we are in. Now this whole thing here is like a temporary space that I can tinker with if I want, but if I restart my computer, everything will be reset to what you see here, because I still need to install Linux Mint, and there's a little CD here that will let me do that. CD's nuts. So I'm going to click on Install Linux Mint, and now it will let me actually install it. This is your typical installation process. I'm going to choose English, continue again. Here it's asking whether I want to install multimedia codecs, and I'm going to choose yes because they're required to play some video formats and to properly render some websites. So I want that. Continue. Oh, the wheel looks weird. Okay, and this part looks familiar. It's the part where I erased my entire hard drive the previous time. So let's do this carefully. This computer currently has Windows Boot Manager on it. What would you like to do? I would like to install Linux Mint alongside Windows. Yes. Continue. Next, I have to select my drive. Why is it only giving me this one? That's suspicious. Well, this is the one I need, so let's ignore that. Allocate drive space by dragging the divider below. So essentially, it's asking me how much space I want to leave for Linux and how much space I want to leave for Windows on this hard drive. Let's do 200 gigabytes for Linux Mint. And please don't delete everything else. You cannot undo this operation. That's what I like to hear. Well, there she goes. Okay, it's probably important that I understand what this means. The partition tables of the following devices are changed. /dev/nvme 1 and 1. That looks like this one because this is the same as this. Maybe. The following partitions are going to be formatted. Partition 2 of my SSD as ESP. I'm assuming this is the format that it's going to give my SSD. And partition 3 of my SSD as XT4. Maybe this means exFAT, which is also a format that hard drives use. But from what it seems, all of this only affects this SSD, which is currently empty for me. So let's click continue. Who are you? Name, dog. Computer name. Computer, powerful. Weak password, you're weak. Encrypt my home folder. Why not? Continue. Installation has finished. Once I restart, I should be in. I mean, it's blinking, so probably it's doing something. And boom, welcome to Linux Mint. This screen will guide you. Let's go. Let's go with dark mode. We have a few styles here. Let's keep it like this for now. Let's go into advanced settings, change the mouse pointer to Breeze Snow. Ooh, very nice. The applications from this blue color to something like purple. The icons to something like Yarrow Purple Dark. Everything just changed down there. And our desktop, let's change to Mint Y Purple. Okay, that was easy. I'll come back to all of these settings later. Before I continue, I'm going to look for display settings and hopefully I can increase the user interface scale so that everything becomes bigger. That is too big. Let's go into settings and enable fractional scaling controls. I remember this not working really well before, but hopefully this works better. Let's do 150%. Well, Yeah, that doesn't seem to work. So let's stick to 100% for now. One thing that I'm realizing is that probably mouse acceleration is turned on. So I'm going to try to search for settings. Yes, there were system settings. Oh, acceleration. Constant? Yes, constant, please. Oh, much better. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. I think I need to install some graphics card drivers for the display scaling to work properly. So I'm going to try to do that within Driver Manager. No drivers needed. Your computer does not need any additional drivers. Never mind. Okay, so why can't I go into display settings and change my refresh rate, for example? It's not supposed to be 93 Hertz. It's supposed to be 144 Hertz, but it says unknown display. So immediately I'm having random problems. Let's minimize this thing and try to troubleshoot. I put in the only command I know, neofetch, into my terminal, and here it says that my CPU, my processor, is the actual processor that I'm using, but then it says that my GPU is AMD ATI device. That's not my GPU. So probably right now, Linux isn't finding my graphics card, which is probably fixable. Oh, wait, I forgot. To paste something into the terminal, you press not Control-V, but Control-Shift-V. Professional Linux user. Okay, what the hell is this? This is not a seamless experience right now. Video memory, accelerated, device. No idea what that means. Asus is my motherboard, so I'm assuming that this one is my dedicated graphics card, and this one is a built-in graphics card. That doesn't tell me anything. By the way, if you're dual booting Windows and Linux like I'm doing right now, which means you're using Linux and Windows on the same computer, you can access the files that you have on Windows from Linux, which is very nice. Let's go into users, my user, wallpapers, and boom, we can yoink a wallpaper. Very nice. That tells a lot. Now my GPU shows up. Does this mean that I can scale my display? No. At least now it shows up. Welcome to Update Manager. This tool provides your operating system with software and security updates. Ooh, this might update everything, and maybe that fixes the display settings issue. Boom! Okay, reboot required. So I'm going to restart and hopefully it's fixed. And we're back in. For some reason, the welcome screen is back. And the moment of truth, that's not good. I still can't change the resolution or the refresh rate. Can I set a different scaling other than 100 or 200? No. Perfect. Just what I like to see. So I'm going to stick with trying to solve this issue first, and once I do, and I will not quit until I do, because I had this working before on my laptop with an NVIDIA GPU, which is supposed to be worse for Linux, and now I have an AMD GPU, which is supposed to be easier. Okay, what I've gathered so far is that if I see driver NA, and here inside of system information, next to my graphics card, I can see Sapphire driver NA, and here it also says Asus driver NA, which means that the kernel did not load the driver. At least now I know what's happening. Open source drivers, including Intel and AMD, are included in the Linux kernel. In most cases, when these drivers do not load, it means the kernel currently being used is too old to have the necessary drivers. Okay, this seems promising. Let's go into Update Manager, view Linux kernels. I've obviously been here before, and I need the 6.5 kernel, which is this one, install, I suppose. Boink. Maybe this works. Okay, let's restart and see what happens now. We're back. The startup screen is again here. Show this dialog on startup. That's why it keeps reappearing. And again, the moment of truth. Wait, I think the refresh rate is higher, huh? Let's go. After like an hour and a half, I finally fixed the first issue. Finally, I can change my display resolution. What happens if I do 150 scaling? Yes, it works. Oh, okay. We have successfully infiltrated the Linux operating system, and I can finally start messing around. It only took minimal troubleshooting. Okay, so let's start with the start menu. I don't think it's called the start menu. And here there are a bunch of pinned things like the Firefox browser, the software manager, which helps you install different applications, the settings, the terminal, and your file system. So let's first head into the settings and explore what we can do here. Backgrounds. There are a bunch of included backgrounds. Of course, I'm going to use my background, link in the description. Let's go into effects. New windows or unminimizing existing ones. Traditional, fly, move. Let's do fly for everything. Ooh, I can change how fast or slow the animation speed is. So what if I do slow? Also, one thing I already love in Linux is when you pick up a window, you get this different cursor, the one that points to different directions. I think this makes so much sense. I would love for this to happen on Windows and macOS once you pick up a window, because right now you just get the default arrow cursor. What do we have in accessibility? High contrast? That's nice, except the icons are not super nice. Actions? Add desklets. Create a new launcher. Display settings. Oh, I think this is the right-click menu. Add desklets. Change desktop background. It's here. So you can customize your right-click menu, and you can download more things that you can add into your right-click menu. That's cool. You can add something that will restart your computer, or you can take a screenshot just from the right-click menu. Pretty cool. DaVinci audio adjustment. I should actually try editing. Applets. What the hell are applets? The applet will let you add icons of widgets in the taskbar. So it's here probably. These are called applets in Linux. Okay, if I select it and add plus, it should appear here. If I add it again, it briefly appears and disappears. Okay, what about the on-screen keyboard? Oh, this one works. So if I click on it, I will have the keyboard accessible for use with my mouse. Scale. I can quickly change the scale. Never mind. This is mission control. Extensions. I don't have any extensions. If I go into download, I can download extensions. Transparent panels. G-Tile. Tile your windows as you like. So you can just install a bunch of features into your operating system just like that. That's crazy. We'll leave it for later. Hot corners. I know what hot corners are from macOS, and they're really useful. On macOS, I have this corner set to show my desktop. So if I move my mouse here, it should show the desktop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, panel. Oh, this is where I can customize the taskbar. How can I move these to the middle? Okay, how do I move this green thing? I can configure the menu as well. Use a custom icon and label. What if I just do like this? That looks nice. I still haven't figured out. Oh, now it moved to the center. Okay, so it was possible. Well, never mind. Now everything is in the center and the menus are over there. Preferred applications. So this is where you set your default applications. Windows. Buttons layout. How is this classic Mac? Let's just have them on the right. Action on title bar, double click. Toggle maximize. Exactly what I want. Action on title bar, middle click. So if I middle click with my mouse button, nothing happens. Minimize. Can I close? Toggle shade, toggle minimize. No, I can only minimize. I would like to close with the middle click. Action on title bar with mouse scroll. Shade and unshade, adjust opacity. Oh, I can make them more or less visible. I'm not sure why would I want that, but that's there. I love that when you hover over a setting, it just explains what it is without me having to Google it. Location of newly opened windows. Automatic, cursor, manual, center. Let's do cursor. So now if I launch the terminal, it should appear next to my cursor. Yes, this is so good. Draggable border width. Look at how far the border extends from where I can grab the window. I love that you can customize this. There's a sound for when you close and minimize windows. Okay, let's just enable them. Okay, so those were the settings. So now let's try to actually do something within Linux. My first idea is to compile a list of things that I would normally do with a computer and try to accomplish it with Linux. So let's try and pull up a text editor, install an application, take a screenshot, create a folder alias. How do you type alias? I think that's it. Crop image, convert image file format, install a game, play the game, use virtual desktops, multitask with keyboard shortcuts, create a folder using the terminal, uninstall a program, and install a font. And I think that's good. Solid 12 tasks. So first, install an application. Now there are a couple ways to do this, one with the terminal and the other one by using the program manager or software manager. So let's first do it the easy way with the software manager, and then we'll do it the hard way. Actually, it's not that hard with the terminal. Let's do GIMP. It's going to be my first time using GIMP. It's essentially open source Photoshop. So let's install it. That was easy. Install application. Check. Can you put emojis? Where's the nerd emoji? Now we have an emoji to put next to each task. So we installed it through the software manager, and now I can look for it, GIMP, and open it. Ooh, that actually started up faster than Photoshop. Didn't expect that. Next, let's try to install something through the terminal. Let's do something like VLC. So to install something through the terminal, you do sudo apt install and then the program name. I'm pretty sure just putting in VLC will not work, so I still need to figure out what I need to put in for VLC. VLC media player for Ubuntu. Boom. Sudo snap install VLC. Does it work? VLC is already the newest version. I think it's already installed. There it is. So let's try another program, like Discord, for example. Discord install Linux. Well, that's the third way, I suppose. It's downloading a file with the deb extension, which means Debian, I think. And basically, Linux Mint is from the Debian Linux family, so it should work. Now, it downloaded into my downloads folder, and here it is. If I double click, it should install Discord. Install package. An unhandable error occurred. Can't close this for some reason. What's Alt F4 on Linux? How do you force quit something? Let's add force quit something to our task list. Let's leave this to the side for now until we get back to it, and let's see how to install Discord. Linux Mint stands on the shoulders of giants. It's based on Debian and Ubuntu, so the Debian installer should work. Install package. Same version is already installed. So did it install before and just gave me a random error? Oh, Discord is already here. And there we have Discord, or discordapp.com/app?1273. So we can safely say that we installed an application. Now, I want to complete the bonus thing that I added, force quit an app. I'm not sure if this is an app, but it's definitely something that has crashed. So I want to eliminate it from my field of view. Inside of the terminal, type in sudo xkill, then click on any window to kill it. Sudo xkill, select the window whose client you wish to kill with button 1, and it turned into an X cursor. Boink. That was really cool. Take a screenshot. Let's try and look for just a screenshot app. Maybe it exists. Screensaver. No. Oh, screenshot. Take a screenshot, screen, window, or selection. Let's screenshot the calculator. What if I do window, take screenshot, and that's the screenshot. Let's explore what's possible to do in this image app. What if I go into edit? Flip horizontal, vertical, rotate, move to trash, delete, and preferences. So it seems like there's no option to crop an image here, which is something that I would love to see, but I'm pretty sure that there's another Photos app that lets you do that. Side pane, image properties, name, width, height, type, file size. This is really useful. I'm keeping this on. Okay, solid Photos app. Also, I keep having to right click and move to trash instead of just being able to delete something. So I'm going to find out a shortcut for deleting files. There are two ways to delete files on Linux. First, you press a delete button. I know, I was impressed too. It doesn't let me though. Oh, let's completely ignore that. Create a folder alias. I'm assuming you can create a new folder with Control-Shift-N, just like on Windows or Mac. And let's try to create an alias. So right click and sharing options. Properties. Didn't work so well. What if I do it inside of my file manager? It doesn't seem like it's in this right click menu, but I'm pretty sure that I can customize this right click menu. What if I go to properties, permissions, share, emblems? I can add an emblem to a folder? Oh, that's crazy. Anyway, so how do you make an alias? It seems like all the answers are for making aliases through the terminal, which is fine, but I want to just make it through the file system. Maybe it's a keyboard shortcut that copies it, shift, that moves it, control copies it as well, control alt, alt shift, control shift, control alt shift. I'm running out of shortcuts. How did I do that? Link to Shrek. So it's called link. I think it was Control Shift. Yes, it's Control Shift and then you drag a folder. So if I open this, it should take me to my Shrek folder. Okay, what if I create a folder inside here? So now Shrek 2 should be inside of Shrek as well. Yes. Didn't even have to use the terminal. Crop image. So as we've seen before, you can't really crop something inside of the Photos app. Let's actually go into the software manager and look for a different app for photos. If you need a basic tool for image management, consider Pix. Image viewer and browser. So I have this already, no? Drawing or Pix. Oh, this is like Microsoft Paint, and there's a crop tool immediately there. Boink, completely cropped. Look at it now. Convert image file format to another format. Now you can very easily do this on macOS with the right-click menu, so let's see how hard it's going to be on Linux. I'm assuming I can just do that within the Drawing app. If I do file save as, I should be able to do a different format. Never mind. I mean, I can type in a different extension, but I'd like to choose. Whoa. Okay, so is it actually JPEG now? Type JPEG. Oh, so I just had to change the file name extension that it's going to be saved with. Not the way I imagined it would go, but look at the masterpiece that we created. Install a game. Let's pick a game that doesn't have anti-cheat, something like, I don't know, Minecraft. Let's try Minecraft. Should I try and install Arch, by the way? Downloaded the file once again. Install package. Continue. Same version already installed. And that's it. I should have Minecraft. Let's put the masterpiece here safely. I mean, it's setting everything up, so that's pretty good. And I think we're in Minecraft launcher. While it's downloading, let's explore some more mouse cursor options. DMZ Black. How does this one look like? Looks good. Oh, so we have successfully installed a game. Okay, let's try to play the game. Now, I have to say playing Minecraft wasn't an issue on Linux, but screen recording it was a horrible nightmare. Look at this. what is that? What are all of these weird artifacts? I can't even see anything. Now I did this with an app called Simple Screen Recorder, and you may have noticed that in different parts of the video there are these weird artifacts. I guess the screen recorder is so simple it just records a blob. And after trying a bunch of different settings with the Simple Screen Recorder, I decided to try and use good old OBS, which is essentially a go-to screen recording software for Windows. That one was even worse. Trying to record any gameplay footage on Linux either gives me this weird mess or just a single frame like this for the whole recording. So that's that. But the game itself works great. So Minecraft worked, but I wasn't able to show it. Use virtual desktops. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. I'm pretty sure you can switch virtual desktops with Control Alt and right and left arrow. Oh, they're called workspaces. Let's do Control Alt and up, which should reveal them, and I can add more and switch between them. Now I'm wondering what happens if I have two Firefox windows like this, and then I put one of them inside my first workspace. Can I switch between them with Control Tab? No. So if you use Control Tab, you'll only be able to see apps that are open within this workspace. If I switch to my first workspace, I can now see all of the apps that are open in this workspace. So they're essentially completely separated, which is pretty cool. And we used virtual desktops. Multitask with keyboard shortcuts. Well, this can mean a variety of different things, but what I meant here was snapping windows and also opening and switching between apps with the keyboard. So I'm assuming the Windows key or the super key and the right arrow snaps, the left one also snaps, the top one, oh, why does it do this? I never use this. I always maximize to the top. So now when I want to maximize a window, I have to press not once but twice. Hopefully I can change this somehow in settings. Let's see. It's not that big of a deal. So essentially the super key or the Windows key and arrow keys snap windows to different places of your screen, and if you just press the super key you get the taskbar. Now what's kind of surprising to me is how fast this works, especially coming from Windows. I can type in anything and it's essentially instant. It's not as powerful as Alfred or Spotlight on macOS. However, I'm pretty sure that there's an app out there for Linux that has a similar set of features like Alfred. It's essentially like a universal search bar that opens different apps, files, does calculations, and even searches Google. Can I do quick calculations here? No. So yeah, I will probably search for an app similar to Alfred that adds that feature. There's no way it doesn't exist. Also, I'm aware that tiling window managers exist, which basically let you switch between different apps with only keyboard shortcuts. For example, something like Super F would take me to Firefox and so on. But I'm not going to try one out for this video. Create a folder using the terminal. I know how to do this on macOS, so hopefully it works the same on Linux. At least I think it should. Let's do ls, which means list, to see where the hell I am in my file system. I'm pretty sure this is the user folder. Let's double check. Or maybe it's the home folder. It has all of these listed out. So let's create a folder on the desktop. Let's first go into the desktop. So cd for change directory, and then desk. There's autocomplete. Very nice. So now I'm on my desktop, and to create a new folder, I'm pretty sure it's mkdir for make directory. It's a fancy name for a folder, and let's name it Shrek. How long ago did I make the terminal video? 3 months ago, and I still haven't forgot this. Very nice. Uninstall a program. Let's install something so that I can uninstall something. Let's do Obsidian. And it's installed. So the first way to uninstall something is straight from the software manager. I could just click remove. That's the first way. The second way is to go into your start menu or the Linux menu, right click and choose uninstall. The third way, I'm pretty sure there are more ways, is of course by using the terminal. I'm going to say sudo, which is essentially run as administrator. apt, this is the package manager. Think of it like the software manager where you can install a bunch of apps, but there are just hundreds, if not thousands more apps that you can install through it. Then for installing something, you would say install, but to uninstall, let's do remove, and I'm going to paste in the Obsidian. Never mind. Let's just try Obsidian. Maybe that works. I'm pretty sure it won't work. Yes, unable to locate package Obsidian. If you want to bring up the same command that you pasted in before, just click the up arrow and it's back. I'm not sure how to find out a name of a package without going into the software manager and then looking for the app that you installed. And here's the name. Or of course I could use Google, and then I'm pretty sure it's this name that I need to paste in here. Obsidian.obsidian. Does this work? Unable to locate. I'm pretty sure there's a way, but I'm just going to uninstall it by right-clicking and choosing uninstall. There it is. It's no longer here. Install a font. Let's do the Vsauce font. You can place the font files somewhere under user share fonts. So let's first open this one and extract the font file. Can I search for directories here? No. So /user is probably here. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's called the root folder. User share, right click, open as root, basically means open as administrator, I'm pretty sure. And if I put it here, the font should be installed. So if I type something here, I should be able to go here and choose the Vsauce font, which means that I installed it successfully. Beautiful. Check and access clipboard history. I'm not sure this is possible, so I'm immediately going to Google it. The clipboard has no history by default, but you can add a clipboard manager like Clipped on the system. Let's try copy Q. Okay, it's installing a lot of things. By the way, on Windows, you can access your clipboard by pressing Windows V on your keyboard. It's also where you can find the nerd emoji. Cinnamon just crashed. You're currently running fallback mode. I'm going to try to log out and log back in and see if this is resolved. What a weird application. Oh, Cinnamon just crashed. So something's up with this clipboard app, which I'm probably going to uninstall. It's also super cool that when the operating system crashes, I can still use it somehow. On Windows, everything would go white and I couldn't press anything. So let's look for another clipboard manager. Let's try Parcelite. Okay, installing stuff through the terminal is kind of convenient. And so it has an option to install itself. Oh, that's my clipboard. I'm an idiot. Let's see. If I click on this one, it should... Oh, it just copies the thing I click. Okay. And with that, we are finished. So how's my Linux experience? Well, apart from some screen recording issues, everything went pretty smooth. Of course, I haven't even dipped my toes into the Linux world, haven't even tried a bunch of the apps like tiling window managers or different workflows. I just peeked my head in a little bit. But from the basic tasks that I've done, I can safely say that if you're not planning to record any gameplay footage, you don't use any Adobe software or anything else that's not available on Linux, then for the average person who spends most of their time inside of their browser anyway, I don't see why Linux is a bad option. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, just like every OS out there. And so right now, my favorite desktop operating system is